Y'all, it's Brian and Brian with the Foundry live stream. This week we are going to be. It looks like we had a couple of platforms drop out, so it is what it is. This week we're going to talk about the behavior surrounding marketing. My background is in a lot of behavioral science stuff and behavioral modification. That's where I came from before I started marketing. Um, and direct youth care and working with kids and families. And there are aspects of it that for business owners, you may not have a marketing problem. It may just be some behavioral things that you need to address. It goes into my entire pivot into wanting to coach, do more coaching as opposed to consulting. So but yeah, by the way, my name is Brian. My business is I Sell Words. I'm in the process of actually relaunching one of my YouTube channels to focus on content for business owners with ADHD. I help small business owners establish themselves online and get a footprint growing. So that's who I am.
Hi, and welcome everybody. Welcome. Sorry, I was getting some stuff together there. I am Brian Gesser, formerly of 531 Labs. Just this week, I launched and changed kind of the way that I do business with marketing, and now we have launched into the ethos there, a company called Hey There Marketing.
Mhm.
Um, Something I'll talk about here and there from when we get on these live streams, but I'm excited to jump into this topic today because it's timely. I'm dealing with it personally, some of this stuff, and I know Brian is too, with transitioning some of our businesses and kind of the ebb and flow of how we do business in this new world with AI. I mean,
Yep.
it's a wild wild west out there, and people need spirit guides, and that's what we are. So
Yep.
excited. Let's get going.
All right. So, first things first, a lot of business owners think that they're marketing. And when I say marketing, let's kind of define what marketing is. When I say marketing and when Brian says marketing, we're talking about something that is holistic to your business. It's encompasses your entire business. It's not like some separate appendage. It's not something that operates independently. Your marketing is how you present yourself online, how your staff greet people when they come in the door, um, the words you use to describe your business, you showing up to networking meetings and shaking hands with people, your pricing, um, your customer service journey and experience. Like it entails all of that stuff. It's the totality of your business.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and,
it's everything. It's all the things you're thinking about. It's social media, it's video, it's you know advertising. It's those things.
mhm.
But those are just appendages, like Brian said. You got things like if you deliver stuff, how is it packaged? What's it
Yep.
look like? Is it secure? If you've ever opened a Apple product, that's marketing in a box,
Right.
right? Yeah, so we think of it holistically, and I think Brian and I are understanding that we have to put that out there a little more and demystify marketing a little bit because it's really every aspect. It touches every aspect of business, every
Well,
every single step of the way.
every step of the way. And here's the thing: a lot of people will confuse advertising and marketing.
Hmm.
Um, Advertising is a marketing tactic. So advertising lives under the tent of marketing. Okay. Advertising is a component of it. And more times than not, when people online talk about marketing, they're really talking about advertising,
Hmm.
putting out ads and things along those lines. Marketing is a little bit higher level, and it entails the advertising piece, but it has other stuff going on. So we just need to put that out there.
And
Okay.
then and I'll give you a segue here. And what does all that mean? Why are we telling you that? Because all of this comes down to psychological behaviors.
Yep. So
There's your
it
segue.
yeah, it's all about behavior surrounding um it's all about behavior surrounding marketing, right? And so that's kind of where we're at. So anyway, sometimes the problem might be strategy, but a lot of times people know what they should be doing. They just don't, they're not in a position to consistently do it. They haven't built a runway to consistently do it. Um, and so um, this is what it's about. It's how we get consistent with the thing. Okay. And so this is where my background, the ABCs of human behavior kind of come into play. Um, and there's a book that has all of it. I've studied the book back and forth, but I'm going to talk about some of the principles of it. And this is not like a clinical lecture. I just want to look at why businesses keep repeating the same behaviors that aren't getting them what they want. So that's what we got. Let's see. Looks like we got some messages in the public chat here. Wait, these are, huh? Where'd that come from? Oh, so hey, they're posting something cool. See that?
Nice.
All right. So here's the thing. So the basic ideas, when I say ABCs of behavior, and then Brian, you can jump in here, but let me go ahead and define this. ABCs of behavior basically is the antecedent. This is what happens before the behavior, what you actually do, and then the consequence, what happens immediately afterwards. Okay. And so in my background, that's always been so whenever I look at a specific behavior, I look at what caused this behavior. Okay. And if you want to get a little bit deeper, we could talk about what the function of this behavior is. Why are they engaging in this specific behavior? Um, what are they looking to gain from it? Or what are they looking to avoid from it? Okay. But basically, ABCs is antecedent behavior consequence. ABCs, what happens before the behavior, what you actually do, and then the consequence of what happens immediately afterwards. And consequence isn't always losing something, sometimes it's gaining something.
Mm-hmm. It's the end result, right?
Yep, it's the end result. More times than not, the thing I see is, all right, the antecedent is um we ran out of time. We don't have enough time to do all the things. Or we ran out of budget. Money's getting tight. Money's getting tight. And so the antecedent is either a lack of time or a lack of money. The behavior is, okay, well, the first thing that gets dropped is advertising and marketing. That's the first thing people put down. They don't post a social media post. They don't pay for the ad. They don't send out that email blast because they ran out of time or they don't feel like they have enough money. And then the consequence is your business really does slow down, like it gets slower.
Yeah, I've never understood that aspect. I've tried to psychologically dissect why business owners think marketing is the first thing to go. Um, and I get it. This is coming from two marketers. I get it, but we know it. That's our expertise, right?
Mhm.
So we know that if you are lacking business, you have some sort of, it's usually a marketing problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I mean, you can have a product problem. You if you have a restaurant and your food's shit, then that's a different problem.
Right.
And that's why people aren't coming. But if it's uh, long waits, shitty service, bad servers or wait staff, um, if the customer experience is terrible, then you have a marketing problem. So, and if it's like a traffic thing, nobody knows who you are, it's an awareness problem, then
Mhm.
in your first thought is to, well, let's make it harder to have people be aware of us. It's not a good move. So that's the consequence in that one.
So one of the things is, and I'll throw this out here, the further you separate a cause from an effect, the further you separate a behavior from a consequence, the harder time the human brain conceptualizes the two things, right?
Hmm.
All you got to do is add time in as a variable, and it makes it harder for those linkages to happen. So a lot of times what happens is the reason why people end up moving away from they don't want to make the post, they don't want to make the ad or whatever. There's a gap in between them doing it, spending money or investing time in the thing, and them getting a return on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes those returns aren't um you don't always see those returns immediately. You may not see them in your immediate world. You don't get that instant feedback, right?
Yeah.
You don't get that immediate reinforcement. And so then they're like, well, this thing doesn't work, or I don't know why I want to do that. So they're going to see less of the behavior because the behavior we want is them to post or create an ad or do the basic marketing task. Well, if
Yeah.
the marketing task doesn't feel like it's rewarding, that's the first thing people are going to drop. Um, It's why Vegas exists right now. Vegas is built off of intermittent reinforcement.
Yeah. And I'll go a step further because I know for me, there's a master negotiator, master lawyer inside my brain
Hmm.
when it's time to do something. It's I need to finish that video and post it, and then the negotiator kicks in and says, "Well, you don't need to do it right now. That last one you didn't do so well, so maybe you need to go back and look at this one." You start negotiating with yourself for reasons not to
Hmm.
post the video or finish the video, right?
Right.
So I think where you win in that is you build the habit up of, and maybe you're going to get into this, I don't know, but you
Yep.
build the habit of like seeing that when it pops up, noticing that negotiator and saying, "Hey, man, shut up.
Yeah.
I got to go get this done." So,
A lot of times it's easy to listen to because most national negotiator knows you and they know where your buttons are and they know where you're weak because they know you because it's you.
right.
And
Yeah, yeah.
they know how to talk you into avoiding things. And that all ties into it. So the example we'll use is, and we just talked about is avoiding content, right?
Mhm.
The antecedent is, A, you know you need to post. You don't have an idea ready, the camera isn't set up, you're busy, you're worried that the video won't be good, right? The behavior is you don't record the thing, you don't post the thing, you don't write the thing.
Right.
And the immediate consequence you get, the reinforcement that you get is relief. Huh, that's one less thing I got to do. You don't feel awkward. You don't have to worry about what you're going to say or how you're going to look on camera. You don't have to struggle with any of that stuff.
Yeah, you get those short-term immediate dopamine hits.
Hmm. And then the long-term consequence is you have no content, your audience doesn't grow, you're not getting leads, and eventually it turns into, well, social media just doesn't work for my business. It works for all these other businesses, but mine is the exception.
Yeah, I'm special.
Yeah, it's the special butterfly, and I don't want to be facetious because both me and Brian have done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Um, but you've basically created this self-fulfilling kind of thing where you've given yourself a reason not to do the thing, and then you see the results of not doing the thing, and it's not the results you want. So now I have even more reason not to do the thing.
Right.
That's what it turns into.
It is a very, very vicious snake eating its tail type cycle,
Right.
and it's
And
nasty. It's nasty. The one point I want to make of this whole live stream today is that I am there with you. Brian's there with you. Like, ADHD is not an excuse.
mhm,
Um, Even though I lean into it, Brian leans into it too. But that doesn't matter. Like, it's forming the habits and making the habits a more positive reinforcement to yourself, and not taking those early quick dopamine hits of you know relief that you didn't record. You don't have to feel awkward, you don't have to figure out what to say. Those little tiny dopamine hits,
mhm.
where you take those 3 dopamine hits, just those 3, they add up to this nice little feeling of like, all right, let's move on.
Well, and then the thing with ADHD I found, and goes into what I want to, this goes into the new channel, is when you have ADHD, you have to build trapdoors for yourself
Hmm.
because you know the behaviors that aren't productive for you, and you have to avoid them. One of the things that ADHD brain struggle with is, I'll tell you personally, as soon as I have a success in business, I run away from it. I've conquered this hill. I've conquered this vista. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me escape. And that's what it turns into really, really fast.
You
Eh,
just told me that when we were before the stream,
mhm.
because I said I launched Hey There yesterday, and I said to you this morning, everything's done. I
Mhm.
got some leads coming in, everything's done. And I can't remember exactly what you said, but you're like, all right, let's run with it and go. I think you got something here that's gonna, kick off, or whatever you said.
Yeah.
That's you end up being the trap door today for me, or whatever. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because it's like I'm feeling the same way you are. Like, I've completed this. This is what I've been working, 3 months straight, tirelessly for, building 29 AI agents that simultaneously work together. Right.
Right.
and I feel like I've conquered a mountain,
Uh-huh.
but I ain't done shit.
Well, and I've done this, it's boring now, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
you've
that's
been
what it
in it.
turns
Yeah.
into. I've won. I've won the game. And so now I don't want to do this same thing anymore because I've already done this. This thing has already happened. I've already done this.
Yeah.
And that's how the brain works. And so with ADHD specifically, you have to build in specific trap doors so that you can stay on, so that you don't try to avoid the thing that you've just had success at, because that's where a lot of business owners struggle, especially ones that do have the ADHD thing. Is you conquer it and then you're like, okay, that dragon's defeated, I don't have to revisit this at all. And the
Yeah.
thing that's going to make you millions is continue to revisit it time and time and time again.
Yeah, I can give you a minute, like a small example where, like, say you own a boutique or something, a store, and you need to be doing social media, and you meet with a social media strategist who kind of audits your business, and um, they do that for free, and you have like a discovery session with them.
Yep.
You don't call them back. You don't ever get them. You don't hire them. You don't have them do any of your social media, but you did the thing though.
Mm-hmm.
I got the audit, and I know it's wrong. I conquered that hill, but you don't do anything or change anything or post anything.
Yep.
That happens all the time.
Because you hire the consultant and the consultant's going to give you homework to do, and the homework is not fun. Homework sucks. The discovery and all the new stuff that comes with the audit is awesome.
Yeah.
But the homework sucks.
Exactly.
And so you end up avoiding it. And so it turns into avoidance works in the short term, and you're mentally rewarded by avoiding the thing. And so things that reward us, we tend to want to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
You know, it again, it goes back to why you keep pulling the arm on the slot machine. Like, you put in $20, you spin it, you lose $10, but then you win $2 back. Oh well, I've won now.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Or I've put $20 in, I didn't win, so if I put another 20 in, now it's got to let me win, right? Then you
Mhm.
start chasing.
Have you ever tried to break your dog of begging at the table, and then somebody feeds the dog from the table?
And you want to punch that person in the throat.
Exactly. Because now the dog is like, well, this behavior I'm doing works. All I got to do is sit here and make noises, and then the person gives me food. And I know that it hasn't worked other times, but sometimes they'll give me food. And so that's enough for me to continue on every single time, because one of these times I might get food. And you have to keep not feeding them off the table, walking over, maybe putting in their dish, or completely ignoring them, or even sometimes putting them in a different room when they started, so that you let them know this is the consequence of this behavior.
Right.
That's the concept of it, guys. And so it yeah, it sounds silly to focus on what drives the behavior in the dog, but that's the same way our brains work.
Yeah, there's no different. I mean, it
So
just really isn't. It's Pavlov's dog, that kind of stuff, that behavioral training that you have to do, or that happens naturally on a
mhm.
negative point,
Yep.
or you have to force it and build your own behaviors and your own habits. I wholeheartedly believe in the habitual system of how, once you make something a habit, it becomes, you're not even thinking about it.
Yep.
You just do.
And the bottom line is, you build that system that's built on avoidance. Basically, your current system rewards you for not doing the thing.
Yeah.
You get great rewards from not doing the thing. And unfortunately, that can really be detrimental to a business, because part of doing the marketing side is learning how to be uncomfortable. I had to tell somebody earlier, it sucks. You're going to have to get on camera. Like, for this thing to work, you're going to have to get on camera, and you want to avoid it. You're going to find reasons not to do it. It doesn't feel rewarding. You're opening yourself up to scrutiny and all that other stuff. But in order to achieve the thing you want to achieve, you're going to have to lean way outside your comfort zone and do something you don't like.
Right.
And you're rewarded for not doing it. Every signal in your body is saying there's a mental and physical reward, for an emotional reward, for not doing the thing. And doing the thing sucks, but eventually doing the thing is going to yield results.
100%. 100%.
So,
The next topic we're getting into is something I do I do consistently over my 24 years, and sometimes it works. So this goes back to what you're saying. Sometimes it works, so I keep doing it.
Right.
But most oftentimes it's a struggle. But we're talking about other business behaviors to kind of talk about and kick around here, and constantly changing your strategy
Yeah.
and not sticking to something. You
Yeah.
know, try something for 2 weeks and then you give up on it. You don't get an immediate result, like you said before. You give up on it. Change everything, because when you change something, there's a new honeymoon every single time,
Mhm.
right? It gives you that feeling you're doing something, gives you that feeling of newness, of niceness. And I do, I mean, the glaring irony that I am starting a new marketing company um, may seem that way, but this is a long time coming with what I'm building.
Mhm.
Um, so again, I need that trap door. Like you said, I feel good about what I've built. People are resonating with it. It's making sense to people, and
Mhm.
people want to buy it. That's all good things to have in business. So run with it, not away from it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing. This is the trap because here's the thing. So, and it kind of falls into this. The constantly changing strategy is also the cousin of I need to read another book. I need to watch another video. I need to learn something new about this thing because learning's fun. It's rewarding. You
It
get to
is.
learn new stuff. You get to
Yeah.
see new opportunities and the stuff you learn. But then the implementation is where it sucks because you don't get the immediate reward. And so what you got, what does your mind tell you to do? Does your mind tell you to stick with the thing until you get results, or does your
No, go
mind say,
learn something new. It's
go
fun.
learn more about this
Yeah.
thing because
Yeah.
you get the dopamine hit of learning,
That's
but
right.
you don't have to lose the dopamine by executing. And that
Right.
falls into changing your strategy because you work to the point of friction, and as soon as you experience friction, you pivot away to the point where you don't have any friction. But friction is where the progress happens.
100%. I call it George Costanza. I don't know if you remember that bit from Seinfeld where he's like, busy, busy. He's really not doing anything.
Yeah,
He's just constantly saying he's busy, busy, busy. But it's like, what does George actually do? Nothing.
nothing.
He's just
He's
busy.
he's great at being busy.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost the most succinct way of putting where I get sometimes, where I'm really great at busy work, but not great at value work.
Hmm.
I'm great at the things that will keep me busy. And a lot of business owners are great at stuff that keeps them busy, doesn't necessarily add value to what they're doing.
Yeah. And I do want to say for myself, and I won't speak for Ryan, let him say his own piece. But
Mhm.
when we talk about these things that, uh, when I talk about the things I struggle with, it's almost 99% my business that I struggle with, my own marketing, my own
Mhm.
details of my business, and I can get lost in I don't have a problem doing this. This is the funny part, the ironic part. I don't have a problem doing it for clients.
Right.
Do all the things on time, get to them, do everything you need to do, but for whatever reason can't do it to the person it matters the most for, you know. So that's the struggle.
Well, and you know you better than anybody else. So the excitement of you doing stuff for yourself is not there. When you're doing it for another business, you get that not only the reward of discovering new things for this business, but you're also getting the external validation from that business being grateful that you've altered the landscape of their business.
Right.
And so now you get those 2 dopamine hits as opposed to, I try this thing and it doesn't work and I've run into friction and it doesn't feel great and it's not necessarily exciting because I already know all the stuff.
Let's
Marketers are the worst at marketing themselves
Yes, let's dive.
themselves.
Maybe you can help with this a little bit. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that. So you just said like, um god dang it, you said, so we don't, what did you just say? We I forget. I've lost my train of thought. I'll remember it. Keep
We know
chugging. I'm just
ourselves we know ourselves it's not exciting. Like when
right.
we're marketing our own stuff, it's not necessarily
Oh,
exciting.
got it. So you say like we try something for 2 weeks and it doesn't work, right?
Mhm.
And we change it and we change it and change it and change it. But what I want to dig deep on is like, if if I do something with a client and they say the same thing, I quickly within my brain say, no, 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 stick with it.
Mhm.
It takes some time. We got to do it this way. Why is it that I can stop them and say, hey, no, 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 don't change anything. Stick with what I told you to do and write it out, and we'll get some real improvement there.
Mhm.
But when it comes to myself, you know, I'm the
Becau
opposite.
because you're the expert and immediately everything you do is supposed to work. That's how I feel.
Right.
Like, I if I can do it for other people, it should be dead simple for me. I shouldn't even encounter any friction when I'm doing it for me if I can do it so easily for other people. And
Right.
that's not a realistic perspective to get. And I think that's kind of what happens. You know, you end up getting disillusioned because as the marketer, you know this stuff better than anybody. And when you don't get the immediate feedback, but for you, um, it doesn't feel great because then you go through the whole cycle of, well, what do I really know and stuff like that, as opposed to when you do it for somebody else.
Mhm.
Because here's the other side: a small change, a small positive change, might be titanic for them. A small change for us may be the most detrimental thing we've ever experienced.
Right.
A small positive change on both sides. So I get them a little bit further than when they were. It might be titanic and game changing for them. But for me, that same small incremental change feels terrible because I expected so much more of myself.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
So another behavior, another business behavior that we see is only marketing when business is slow.
Ugh.
I've done this. I live this. Um, I've experienced it myself. So what happens is the business slows down, you start panicking, you start posting, you start emailing, you join a networking group, or you start going back to the networking meetings, and then business improves. And then as soon as business improves, the first thing that stops is your marketing
So stupid.
because you're busy now and you don't have time to market. And then
And
3 months later, you're in the same hole again.
yeah, I could say it's stupid because I'm talking about myself. Like it's exactly what happens. I mean, it's so yeah. Sometimes these live streams end up being therapy for me, because this is timely for me. I'm having some success, so I'm like, okay, what
You want to
now?
you want to start slowing down.
Yeah,
And this is the time it's counterintuitive because if I'm in the fractional CMO seat, right? And
yeah,
we're in a launch, this is where I'm leaning on my staff. Okay, guys, we got it launched. Now the work's really cut out for us. Now we got to lean in and grind.
yeah.
Don't slow down. We got
Keep the
some
foot on the
endorsements.
gas.
Let's get the momentum going. But when it's you and your own thing, it's easier to fall back because it's like, oh, I'm busy now. I don't have time to make that post. I'm seeing client meetings and I'm talking to prospective clients and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it slows back down in 3 months, and then you're back in the same boat. Marketing stops, business starts slowing down, and you get into a panic mode.
And then right now my marketing brain's kicking in. And it's going, when you find something that works, if business slows down, you start posting, you start emailing, you start networking, and then but the posting starts working, and that's
Mhm.
that's the outlet that's working. You need to stop everything else and pedal to the floor on the social posting,
Yeah.
and lean in, like you said. That's what people don't do, and that's what I know works. I
Right.
mean, the number one ad strategy for Facebook, for YouTube, for any ad online advertising is you put out enough content. The content that hits turn into an ad. It works every single time. I've never seen it not work. I don't know about you. I've
Yeah.
never seen it not work. When there's a piece of content that hits, you turn it into an ad. Whether that means using the exact piece of content or doing very, very, very similar content as an ad,
Yep.
doesn't matter. Is never not worked.
It always works.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part because you constantly are in that doubting mode of there's so many layers to this. I can talk for days
Yeah,
about it.
same. Yeah,
Um,
so sorry, I didn't mean to
that's
deviate.
fine.
But yeah,
But
one of the worst things you can do when business slows is stop your marketing.
yep. And you know, and if you experience it, like if you're in a period where business is slow, and you're in the panic marketing side of it, um, the hack kind of is market like you're in that panic all the time. Not panic marketing, but act like this could slow down at any point. I can't stop. I got to keep pouring it on, because what'll happen is you'll start building a library of content that you can lean into to do your marketing for you when you don't have the energy.
Yeah.
Because one of the things is, and this might be further along on another episode, this is the concept of building marketing assets, things you can record once or write once or create once, and then just swap out the color, swap out the name, swap out the imaging, and keep using it over and over again.
100%.
So yeah, but that ends up becoming a negative feedback loop. Only marketing when business slows down, and then you condition yourself to marketing is what happens when things slow down. Over planning. This is one I've done. Um, when I first started my when I first
Guilty.
started when I first started, my first management job was, I had the opportunity to design the youth shelter of my dreams in terms of the kids I wanted to serve. And so I'm like, okay, I can't screw this up. And so I need to get organized. I really need to get organized, man. And so the first thing I did was I went out and bought the book, the GT, Getting Things Done,
Oh yeah.
the GTD system.
What's that guy's
And
name? I probably have
uh,
the book laying around here somewhere too.
And when you're reading about that system, man, it sounds great, bro. It sounds amazing. It's foolproof and everything. And all you have to do is buy 60 folders and write on those 60 folders and put dates on those 60 folders, and then pre-plan your entire month and figure out when things are due and put things in the right folder and blah 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 blah, all the stuff, right? The amazing thing about the Getting Things Done system is you never get done with setting the system. You spend, for ADHD person,
It was
you
not
spend
good.
I hyper focus on perfecting this system, and then I never used it.
Yeah.
I had all these folders in my desk drawer, and they all had time. They all had, the months and days of the year on the, or months, and then all the days. I had 31 folders for all the days of the month, and then 12 folders for the month. Right? I never use that. I kept finding ways to optimize it. I would look up new ways that people are
Yeah.
optimizing the system, and oh, they mixed the Pomodoro technique with this, and so now I can mix this with the. Listen,
I've used this thing like 5 times in 3 years.
yeah.
And here it sits on my desk. Stupid thing. Just a constant reminder of how stupid I am sometimes.
It's the
But
game.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I have done, shocker, I've done research on productivity platforms and methods for ADHD people. We are the worst at productivity systems that people
Yeah.
try to force on you or whatever. You do what you did. Okay, I'm gonna spend 2 months. When you say it out loud, it
Yeah.
sounds even more ridiculous. I'm gonna spend 2 months on this productivity system so I can get started on building my business.
Hmm. And then you end up becoming an expert at building productivity systems and not doing business. And I would imagine that we're probably the best customers for productivity systems, like to-do list, checklists. Um, I know so many people with ADHD that went out and paid for Notion, and they don't know what it does.
Right.
They still couldn't tell me what Notion does. I have paid for Notion. I can't tell you what Notion does. It looks awesome. And it looks like you can automate a heck of a whole lot. I have no idea what Notion is. I've
The
looked at it. I've spent hours in it, and I still don't know what it is.
the only productivity system that I've stuck with for a lengthy part of time, and I'm not really even using it right now. I'm using I just use a pen and paper, but is Trello or Kanban boards. Doesn't matter what brand you use, but a backlog, doing, done.
Hmm.
So you got what's to do, what I'm doing, what's completed. That's it.
The one that works for me is a method is a mixture of the Pomodoro technique where it's work for 20 minutes, 10 minutes break, work for 20 minutes, 10 minutes break, and co-working. Yeah,
Yeah.
co-working. Oh, okay. So all right. So we're getting comments. Sean's tuning in from KC Mo. What's up? What's up? Thanks for joining us. Uh, Notion is a glorified doc management. Yeah, that's where I'm getting like, and you could pay hundreds of dollars to get the best Notion system, and really, it's just another way to organize things.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, for me, I can spend hours organizing things and then never do anything with that organization. And so a lot of times the behavior ends up becoming over planning, especially as a business owner. So it's building calendars. You look at platforms, you buy software, you watch marketing videos. For me, it's watching productivity videos. You write the strategy to fit your needs, and none of it actually requires you putting yourself in front of a potential customer.
Yeah. It's
None of it.
awful. It's an
There's
awful, awful death spiral.
Like, I have this amazing system for onboarding clients, and all I do is spend time refining it and never actually going out and getting the clients. And that ends up becoming the behavior that gets reinforced because now you're avoiding the unpleasant part, which is possibly dealing with the rejection, dealing with the frustration, dealing with the unknown variables. And so you just lean into the planning side of it because the planning feels comfortable.
Sweet, sweet dopamine hits.
Yep. So we got a couple of more to go through. So
This next one's good too.
yeah, the chasing immediate feedback. Okay. YouTube is really good at this, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you first start a YouTube channel, they give you a boost for pretty much everything you do. So
Yeah.
new content
TikTok does too.
gives you a small boost. And if your boost connects with the right audience, it's like rocket fuel to your channel because they're like, okay, we're getting the right signals. We can push everything that this person does. But more times than not, you post your first TikTok or YouTube or Instagram reel and it gets 200 views. And you're like, dang, that failed. Because you see these people with 5 million views. And
Right.
then you immediately stop. And so the immediate consequence, it teaches you that marketing isn't working, even though the real business outcome, it may take much longer. I have been to family reunions, I've been to weddings and stuff that I didn't think anybody watched. People are walking up to me and talking about it.
Yeah. Same. And it's just you're not, it all comes back to the same thing, right? You're not getting that dopamine hit. You're not getting that comfort of that immediate response.
Mhm.
And it pains me when I have to discuss it with clients. It's like, nope, you got to stay with it, and you got to keep pushing out the content, especially with content and video and stuff. When you're just starting out,
Mhm.
you're not going to get people watching your shit.
It
You're
just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work like that. But you get the reps, you get better, the content gets better, and you're not getting seen because your content sucks.
Mhm.
You're not getting seen because no one knows who the hell you are, and they're not clicking on your face or clicking on your channel or
Mhm.
whatever. It's those reps. It's getting in there, and then as soon as YouTube, like you're saying, as soon as the algorithm picks you up, and it's like, okay, I understand what you're doing.
Mhm.
I understand the viewers that are sticking with you and watching. I'll help you out. Here you go. I'm gonna start putting you in front of people. But that happens in time. It doesn't happen your first 5 videos, 10 videos. It doesn't happen that way.
And don't let me even go into what it looks like when you're running Google ads. My goodness, that is one of the hardest things to explain to clients.
Yeah.
Um, People think productivity is doing a lot, lots of deliverables, lots of busy work. Productivity needs refinement in the work world. Productivity is the absence of rework. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Um, because you can really feel productive and still not accomplish anything. You could have the most
100%.
productive day, and you have this thing where like, man, I did a lot, and then you look back on it, it's like, what money making activities did I engage in? Well, I fixed my website. I changed the landing page on my website and put a contact form in there. Okay, did you send the contact form out to anybody? No. I just spent 6 hours putting this contact form and linking it up to my email service.
Because Brian, if I send it out to somebody, they may not like it.
Yeah, and then it becomes real.
Right.
It becomes a real thing.
You're like,
And
shit.
so And so the immediate consequence is a lot of times we get this idea that marketing somehow our business is exempt from marketing. And the rules of marketing just don't apply to our business, and it ends up becoming this self-defeating thing.
Yeah.
That's why I view marketing as a holistic thing with your business. It's everything your business does to speak to the people that come in and give you money and pay for your services.
Now I'm gonna take my marketing. No, actually, I'm gonna put the hat on, marketing owner hat here,
Mhm.
because I will say, and I may be just shit, you know, just pulling this out of my ass, but it's hard to market marketing.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it genuinely is. And I'm not using that as an excuse or something to lean on. Well, maybe I
Mhm.
am a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's super hard to market marketing.
The best way I've heard it is somebody's told me, "You're selling smoke."
Yeah,
You're selling smoke until it's real, you're selling smoke, and that's a real piece of feedback. It didn't prevent them from doing business with me, but it
right.
did set it in perspective, like, you're actually selling smoke right now, and I have to believe in the thing that you're selling me and believe that it's actually going to make a difference. And that's what marketing is. You're selling smoke, you're selling, a system that may or may not get people depending on who rolls with it and who how well they execute on it.
Yeah, how well they execute on it, how well they pay attention to what you're telling them to do, how yeah, all those things factor in. So it's funny you're selling smoke, but you're also like relying on this person to like follow through with what the proper methodologies are
Mhm.
in order to get said result, right?
Yep, and it
Yeah.
turns into it that there's an execution gap that ends up hurting what your marketing efforts are, and
Yeah.
so it kinda blends into the next question. Are we designing marketing systems around what people should do or how people actually behave? I've had this conversation when I had caseworkers, when I was managing, family support workers. I this is verbatim something I told, one of my workers. I
Mhm.
said, "Okay, so you design your workflow by how you think it should go, but did you design it for how you actually do things and how you actually behave? Because those are 2 different things."
So okay, so let's learn this ourselves here. We can
Mhm,
turn this around and push this against ourselves here. So you said that that person said you're selling smoke.
mhm,
I'm going to go with you, but I don't I don't know that I can trust you or trust the result that you're telling me you can get.
right,
So right there, we need to design marketing systems around building trust with potential clients.
yep,
That's the number one thing we should be focusing on then.
yes. But then the question is, you know you need to show up every week, right?
Yeah.
You know, you gotta constantly do that, right? But being consistent isn't a strategy.
Right.
So, are you actually a consistent person? If you're one of those people that is absolutely a rock star and consistent in everything that they do and you see everything through, then you can build a strategy around that. But if you know that your consistency, the variable that impacts your consistency is whether how busy you are, what you got going on in your personal life,
Mhm.
how the business is running, what other things are going on, then you need a system. You should build a system around how you actually behave, not how you want yourself to be, but
Right.
how you actually are. And I think that's the challenge moving forward. Um, Oftentimes we end up optimizing for the person that we wish we were, as opposed
Yeah.
to optimizing for the person we are. And it ends up becoming like this weird reward system because you feel like, yeah, I built a system that's going to keep me in line and keep me accountable. And it's like, no, you did. You build a system that when things get tough, you're going to walk away from because you're optimizing for the person you want to be as opposed to the person you actually are and the brain that you actually have. And that's fine to admit, hey, this is where I screw up. This is where I don't do things,
Right.
but it feels uncomfortable.
I agree with you 100%, but if I offer a little pushback here, how do
Yeah.
can we force that change
Mhm.
to be the person that we're trying to be?
By executing enough it as the person we actually are, you end up becoming the person you wanna be.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, if you are like and it goes back to the weight room, that's the weight room analogy, right? If you're consistent in the weight room, even though you don't consider yourself a lifter. But if you show up consistently and lift the heavy things, eventually you end up becoming the person that you want to be.
Right. Right.
And so it is optimizing a system that works for the brain you actually have as opposed to the brain you want to have. And eventually you will change into that person that you want to be. You'll end up getting the outcomes and the results. The weird trick about the human brain is you'll never see it. Like
Right.
somebody else has to tell you that you lost weight. You'll never see it yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
your clothes don't fit anymore. You think you're losing weight, but somebody else actually has to tell you that. And so, but yeah, that's the game is taking an honest inventory of yourself, and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. 100%.
So, but yeah, when I used to have to design behavioral systems to shape behaviors of kids and staff, um, it always came with that assessment of, okay, here are the behaviors that we see when you encounter this. You don't like it, it's unpleasant. So we need to substitute in new behaviors. How do we get to that point? And that's where it comes in. That's why I want to move. That's why I said I need to move out of the consulting role more into the coaching role because I can be a little bit more directive.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with that. And you and I have talked about this off when we were at our meeting the other
Mhm,
day. I wholeheartedly 1,000% agree with that psychological process of just just naming yourself a coach rather than a consultant. I
mhm,
believe in all of my body and my being that that makes more sense to people.
mhm,
Um, I'm going to coach you on your business. I'm going to coach you through the things that you're struggling with,
mhm.
right? It's just a whole different mentality. And like I told you off camera, I think being a coach for whatever reason allows you to be a little bit more straightforward with a client.
Yep,
Like I can call them up and say, "Did you do the thing?" Well, no, because this, that, and the other. Well, you need to do the thing. You want to make money. You want to be better. You want to get, you got to do the thing.
yep. You got to go out and execute the thing.
Yeah.
The thing won't just fall into your lap.
Right.
So let's get because I want to make sure we get through as much of this as possible. All right. So instead of just saying you need to be consistent, and that's not a strategy. We need to ask why aren't we consistent? Why aren't you
Hmm.
consistent? Is it too complicated? Does the thing take too long? Is there no immediate reward? Does every post require another decision? Is the process unpleasant? Are you doing something you hate because somebody told you to? That's how marketing is because they told you that's how marketing is supposed to work. Like you hate this process, but somebody somewhere said this is how marketing works.
I mean, geez, I mean, that's like every business owner,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to do any of this marketing.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of this. I don't even want you to tell me. I had a client
Mhm.
um, tell me, I don't want to worry about this. I just want to know you got it handled.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality.
Yep.
He doesn't want to write emails for an email campaign to go out. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to do social media posts every single day like he needs to.
Mhm.
He wants to know what's going on and that you got it handled.
Yep. And I think that ends up becoming the game a lot of times when you are doing like the done for you marketing side of things
Mhm.
is and I think a lot of businesses struggle with this concept because they hire the marketing guy, the marketing consultant, right? And they're just like, okay, go and do my marketing for me. And in my experience, the best marketing that a business can do has the owner's fingerprints all over it. It has the owner's personality infused in it. Because at the end of the day, the reason why your clients do business with you is because there's something internal to that business that they connect with and resonate with. And if I'm doing it myself, then it's not coming from you
Right.
and you don't
And
have great outcomes.
that's a core tenet of Hey There Marketing is
Mhm.
that approval process that I leave in their hands,
Yep.
right? So they get all this stuff. We do all this stuff for them, um, and maintain the business brain for them, and understand what's going on with their revenue and their cash register. We have all the data that we get together and we gather and we offer up this is what we decided that you should post. This is what we decided you should send out or whatever,
Mhm.
XYZ. Do you approve this?
What do you think?
And then that little tiny, all they do, they spend 2 seconds hitting that button. And you want to talk about dopamine?
Mhm.
They're getting massive dopamine dumps off that little approval button.
And it keeps a
And
human
it's a
in the
good
loop.
one and a good dopamine hit.
It keeps a human in the loop. That's
Right.
important, and I think people don't understand. Keeping a human in the loop, even when you're using an automated tool, is still really important because you still need the human eye on things,
Yeah.
okay? And so, let's talk about how people train themselves, how business owners train themselves. Every time you avoid a marketing task and feel immediate relief, may strengthen your, sense of avoidance. Imma say that again. Every time you avoid a marketing task and feel that immediate relief, you may strengthen the avoidance
That's why it's so
reflex.
hard to change once you've done it so many times over and over. It's so hard to change that.
Yep. Every time you wait for revenue to drop before you start marketing, you reinforce reactive marketing. Okay. Every time you abandon a strategy because it doesn't produce immediate feedback, you strengthen that strategy hopping thing.
Essentially, these are bad habits, and bad habits are bad.
Yeah. You reinforce yourself for the things that you don't want in your business. And you get it. I understand it. But so
100%.
I've experienced it. But when you avoid, like, every time I don't want to do the marketing task because it gives me relief that I don't have to do it. You're basically you're basically incentivizing yourself not to do the thing you know you need to do. Businesses have habits just like everybody else does. Okay. And
Yeah.
sometimes we call it a marketing strategy, where really it's just a set of behaviors that is repeated long enough to become normalized in your business.
We're just dumb meatbags walking around. Like, we are humans are dumb, man. We're
Well, and
golly.
the most productive people I know are the ones that are able to trick themselves into being productive, even though when they don't feel productive.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the game. It's basically tricking yourself into doing the thing that you don't want to do. Okay. And so let's talk about it. So, marketing consistency versus motivation. Motivation is not a great way. Feeling motivated to post stuff is not, it's not a strategy.
No.
Um, we could talk about why business owners keep stopping and starting. And these are all potential show topics that we can get
Yeah.
into. The entire thing I want to get you guys to understand is the successful marketing isn't always strategy, it's the behaviors of your business and how you act as a business owner. Okay.
Yeah.
So, my thing is I want to lean into, I don't want to design the strategy as much. I want to design the behaviors around the strategy. And that's where that's kind of where I want to go with the coaching side of things,
Yeah.
from the marketing aspect of it and the content side of it. I don't want to design the strategy as much as shape your behaviors so that we can execute the strategy that's on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why I've shifted and created Hey There, and I hate to keep moving that, but everything that we're talking about is very timely with why I've done and chosen to do these things with this company.
Mhm,
Um, is because it's kind of like a hands off this kind of hands off coach, right?
mhm,
It's like, do this. These are things you got to do. This is why you need to do this because you're slow on Tuesdays from 2 to 4 p.m.
mhm,
You need to do something about it. Here's our best guess at what would work to increase that. Do you approve it?
mhm,
So there's so many things that are going on there psychologically that make this a system that makes it easy to, well, essentially, you're what you said. It's tricking them.
mhm,
It's tricking them into doing marketing.
mhm. it ends up making marketing a behavior, a byproduct of what the business does, as
Right.
opposed to some extra thing. If
Right.
marketing is built into the behavior of your business, then you never have to worry about whether you're marketing your business or not. Because just by virtue of the business existing and you doing your normal day-to-day stuff as a business owner, you're marketing your business and getting the and targeting the clients and bringing in the people. So we want to make the marketing a behavior
Yeah.
and modify the behaviors around how you run your business.
Because I don't want anybody to get twisted. Hey There Marketing is not a SaaS product. It's not a
Mhm.
software like
Right.
that. That's not the point of it. It's not something you log into and use like that.
Mhm.
It's a brain
Mhm.
that is built and constantly learning and building just for you and your business personally, and then allows you to see, your gaps and offer suggestions, and consult or coach with you, and then allow you to just approve or deny. That's it.
And you still have to execute. You
Yeah.
still have to be the person that goes out and does the thing.
Hmm.
It's a layer that helps you execute better. And helps you do the business tasks that typically fly under the radar because they're repetitive, they're redundant, they're not
Hmm.
rewarding. It takes that stuff off of your plate so that you can streamline the process. And having the behaviors built around that allow you to get the most out of the tool. So that's what I got, guys. Moving forward, you're going to start seeing more. My stuff is going to be a little bit more directive. I'm actually writing some stuff down because I really do want to combine my behavioral, the my background in behavioral, teaching, addressing behaviors, modifying behaviors, um, you know, taking behaviors that aren't productive and making them productive behaviors, my entire background with that, and I wanna integrate it into, my marketing coaching and my content coaching stuff. So you're gonna start seeing more stuff from me based on that. I'm also doing a channel on YouTube. I'm starting fresh, starting over, self-branded as Brian Hill, that's BryanHill, and that's going to be focused on, stuff for business owners with ADHD, and we're just a place where we can just I can share resources, talk about things that I've done, talk about common pitfalls we fall into, and I want to see where it goes. Um, it's a challenge I put for myself because YouTube done changed they changed what it takes to get into their creator program and get monetized. And so I never wanted it before, and I don't really care about the AdSense dollars. Um, I want to see if I can do it because I've helped businesses do it. I need to
Yeah.
do it for myself. And so I got till February 1st to make it happen.
Right. It's funny that you're doing that, and that you're challenging yourself, because I haven't even told you this. I was waiting to put this out to the
Mhm.
world here for some accountability. Um, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't have an exact plan. Um, but um, I'm going to try to put a video out every day for the next 30 days.
All right.
I don't know what that means. It could be a short, it could be a long form video. I don't know, but I'm putting it out there in the ethos to hold myself accountable.
All right. We'll see what happens. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Um, and I wanted to highlight William's comment on here. It's a layer, right? Um, we talked about productivity and the deliverables, but the way that Hey There works is just is a layer, but you have to actually implement and use it in order to get the outcomes you're looking for. So um, we'll be talking more about Hey There marketing. I'll be talking more about what I got going, but really, this is an opportunity for us to share the inside the baseball knowledge that we have as marketers. And we really do appreciate you guys tuning in. We're reworking the Foundry to make it to add a little bit more utility to it. The address is let me see if I can find I need to post it. I'll post it in the chat, but we do have our community. Um
Yeah, and it's I'll talk a little bit about that while you get that fired up, but
mm,
we're trying to make Brian and I like to provide value
mhm,
in the Foundry, and we found that whatever setup and what however we were doing it before, it wasn't getting the community feedback that we wanted, right? Um not that it was negative or anything, it just wasn't, people weren't engaging how we wanted them to engage. So we're kind of reworking some things, seeing how we can better market this, trying to find the gaps and then figure out what makes this kind of community super valuable for people.
Yep.
It's going to stay free.
Mm.
There's going to be stuff in there that you can pay for that's a little more advanced. That's not going away.
Mhm.
But we going to be bobbing and weaving a little bit with the Foundry, to kind of figure out how to best support the people that want to engage with it.
Yep. And for those that don't know, the Foundry is the marketing community that we started for business owners. It's by business owners for business owners to try to help teach you some of the tips and tricks of marketing and provide resources and also give you a straight line to ask us questions. So the link is in there. Join and sign up, but we are actively reimagining how we want this deployed and what value we can be adding to you
Yeah,
guys.
we spoke about it last week, and really boils down to this: we want to demystify marketing and not make
Hmm.
it this big animal that, while it can be, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
I hope that makes sense. And I know it sounds a little, platitude ish, but um, it doesn't have to be this giant monster, you
Yeah.
know. And I want to demystify that for people and understand that, you know, hone in on the things that work. That's what's gonna really, what it's really gonna boil down to.
So that's what we got. The link is, you see the link, we posted it on there. I'll show it on the screen. If you're interested, understand it's a work in progress. We do appreciate everybody that tunes in.
Yeah. Thanks for Will
Oh,
showing up.
wow. Wow. Hold on a
Appreciate it.
second. Let me show this on screen here. The Foundry. I just made an app called Foundry yesterday. Completely different vein. Great minds think alike. Hey,
That's right. That's right.
let, let's go. And um, what? Hey, tell us. I will put it on there. We'll plug your stuff real quick. Tell us where to find it and what it does. If you can type it in the comments, I'll put it on the screen so people can see it. And when we post this, it'll be a plug for what you got going on. So yeah, just go ahead and post it, and we'll hype you up. We'll plug you in because that's what we do.
Yeah. So
The
yeah,
thing,
go ahead. I was
yeah,
just go ahead.
the thing is, guys, the idea behind this is our goal is to add as much value because I figure if we both show the value that we can deliver, it turns into a situation where um, we don't have to prove as much, if that
Right.
makes sense. We
Yeah.
can show you the value. We don't really section off or try to paywall too much knowledge.
Yeah. The only thing that gets, and I'm upfront and we're transparent about this. The only thing we really charge for is stuff that cost us money,
Yep.
right? We try to recover some of the cost of some of the stuff that you know gets pricey.
Yep.
If we build an AI agent and put it out there, it costs us money to have that thing every time someone types in that thing, right?
Right.
So we try to just, I mean, it's just basic business principles for us. So we're not being millionaires from anything we put in here. It's just it's to cover costs and stuff like that.
Yep.
Again, it's about providing value. It's a spot for me and Brian to go back and say, hey, look at all the business owners we've helped do XYZ. Here's your proof. Trust us.
So web app not
Um,
released yet. Okay, so tune in, keep tuning in, and when you're ready to let it go and put it out there, just let us know. All right. We appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Thank you, William, for tuning in. Anybody else that sees this in the past or the future, if you want to reach out to us, the Foundry is where you can do it. So,
oh, here we go. Foundry.family is where it will live, unless I find a better domain before I release it. There you go.
all
There you
right.
go. Foundry.family.
So that's what we got, guys. We appreciate your time. I got to get to rolling. Brian's got to get to rolling. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week on the Foundry live stream. Peace.
Peace.